Hey guys, welcome to the first video in the series, which will serve as the introduction. Right off the bat, I have you with a demo. This is going to be akin to what we will have as the final project. This is obviously done with the D3.js force layout API, and I made this into an editor. So it uses a lot of kind of like methods outside of D3.js alone. So I'm not going to be building this full-on functional app, of course. But in this little tool, you can add text, edit the text, drag elements around, pan them, zoom out, zoom in, undo, redo, right? And connect them, of course. So before we even so first of all, we're not really going to be making a full-on editor because I don't think that's what a lot of people want to do. A lot of people might just use the force layout as like displaying static data, and whenever the data updates, they might just redraw the whole thing. But I doubt that the average person using D3.js wants to make an editor where people can actually control what is being displayed, right? The users can add or subtract things. And so we're not going to be doing that, but we are definitely going to be, I'm definitely going to be teaching about some of the, not the fundamental, but the most popular D3.js APIs. So definitely going to be talking about bubble maps. So if we go to D3.js, bubble maps, that thing right there is definitely one of the popular ones, like this thing right here, and tree maps. And maybe I will just talk about something that has to do with geography. So maybe something that has to do with D3 geo. Yeah, those might be the one, but definitely bubble map is the first one we'll be talking about because that's like the most popular one. People love bubble maps and collision and physical properties with bubble maps, right? But even before that, even before we get into the more popular APIs, we got to talk about the fundamentals of D3, and that comes to, first of all, the basic fundamentals, where we have just selections and dynamic properties and maneuvering around the really odd looking D3.js syntax. If you have been messing with native JavaScript or some other stuff, this syntax might make sense to you. But let's say if you started with React, you don't see, actually, let me take my words back. This is somewhat like a chain function. I mean, somewhat like I forgot what it's called, promise function, where kind of this is like almost the callback of this thing, and this is the callback of this thing. But you know, this is the syntax of D3, and it's not the most pleasant looking unless you have messed with something similar. But we gotta cover that first, and once we wrap our minds around that, we can get into stuff like binding data to a certain selection, and then appending and inserting certain shapes to our SVG. And keep in mind, D3.js, everything is done on an SVG, or at least that is what is intended to do. And that's really it. So to recap, basics first, and then going on to the update patterns and binding data. Then at least I'll be talking about the more specific APIs, and maybe we're going to be building a tool like this, but definitely not as totally extensive. Well, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be talking about selections and dynamic properties.